Welcome back to Open Source Show and Tell. I'm David Sterry. Have you ever heard of GPG? How about Nix? Or maybe have you heard of Identica? I'm not surprised if you haven't. Even someone like me who's worked in tech for 20 years, developed enterprise software, just someone who has a wealth of experience with technology doesn't know everything that's in tech. I wouldn't expect that you know about every single package that's out there. And this is a problem for open source. See, people don't want to use what's unfamiliar. They want to use things they've heard of. They want to use something that they've heard of many times, like more than 7 times is the marketing thing. For example, think of the biggest soft drink maker and how much money they spend, making sure you remember them when you get thirsty. Open source doesn't have billions of dollars. We have web searches and forum posts and chat rooms and newsletters. We don't have billboards. If you're lucky, a friend or coworker is going to hear you griping about these huge Docker containers and recommend something like Nix to you. Open source is more like a library. You mostly need to know what you want before you go there. Of course, librarians do set up those little displays with some books, favorite books to try and get people to do something, but they're not getting paid a bunch of extra money to do it. Going to a supermarket, on the other hand, it's optimized and every inch of shelf space is auctioned to get those products to you. They have the sugary cereal at eye level for the little kids, and then they have the milk in the back to make you go through the whole supermarket in order to get what you really need. Open source software is more like the library, whereas proprietary software and the technologies you hear about on a daily basis, those are the ones that are generating billions of dollars for huge companies. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what comes along with all the spend there is that they have to kind of get you to use the product more than maybe healthy. They may want to force upgrades on you that you don't actually need, or feature changes that you don't need. So the approach is different, right? So in the open source world, probably will subscribe to some newsletters, to some channels, go to some websites that are focused on this open source software, and we also tend to rely more on web searches and forum posts and newsletters. There's more like a one-to-one word of mouth, as opposed to seeing billboards, seeing TV ads and radio ads. Open source doesn't have a marketing department. I mean, you're kind of looking at it. In open source, we look for quality, reliability, downloads, stars, pull requests, anything that tells us more about the project, not just the software itself, but the community around it. Overall, I find open source to be a much healthier way to live, because you spend more of your time intentionally doing things that you want to do, like building something, helping to build a project, as opposed to a pop-up that says you have to upgrade to version 12 now, or some kind of automatic overnight update in which you lost half your stuff. It's frustrating. Who owns this computer? And open source doesn't have to win and monopolize your attention in the same way in order to provide the basic service that you want. So I hope you slow down, try some different software out, share with your friends and family, maybe help them set it up, blog, newsletters, do all the things that are our strengths in open source. That way we'll all kind of move this whole thing together. If you like this video and want to see more like it about open source software and getting practical experience coding using alternative technologies, then subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.